A recent report released by China's industrial bank company has become quite a hot topic online here. It concerns the financial situation of the companies to which the bank is making a private offering of additional shares. And what's caused such a buzz is that it shows the state-owned China National Tobacco Company, known as CNTC, made a profit of over $18 billion in 2010. That's $50 million per day on average. That performance ranks it number 4 in terms of profits on the list, only behind the China Industrial and Commercial Bank, China National Petroleum Corporation and the China Construction Bank. And the surprise factor is that it's the first time the profits of the Chinese state tobacco company have been made public. For many Chinese net users, these massive profits sit somewhat uneasily with the facts that currently China has 320 million smokers, accounting for a third of all smokers in the world, and that an estimated 3,000 Chinese people die from smoking-related diseases every day. Well, to find out a bit more about what's being said online concerning this news and for some thoughts on the effectiveness of anti-smoking campaigns in China, let's now join our researcher Esther Deng in the newsroom. Okay, first of all, Esther, let's hear something of what the online community feels about these massive profits made by CNTC and up until now unknown profits.
Well, interestingly, although huge profits amongst the monopoly industries in China isn't something new to many people here, lots of posters still feel quite shocked at the money CNTC has made. Lao Jiadi on gfdaily.com is just one of these surprise posters. When talking about monopoly and windfall profit, the first thing to come into our minds is usually oil producers, big banks, and luxury alcohol makers. We knew that tobacco industry earns lots of money, but we didn't know it makes so much money. The profits CNTC made even surpassed those of Bank of China and Sinopec. And this poster on 163.com can't agree more. I admit that the tobacco companies have long been considered a byword for wealth and huge profits, but this is the first time we have known just how much money they exactly make. Well, a lot more are just pretty annoyed. First, listen to this ticked-off comment from 生于忧患，死于安乐 on Sohu.com. This is just state drug trafficking. A small number of people enjoy huge profits at the expense of the health of a whole society. And also this poster on sxgov.cn. When I first saw the news, I couldn't help wondering on what grounds should the CNTC make so much money. It's simply accumulating wealth at the cost of smokers' health. And what kind of benefit does it bring to the public by its huge profits? And he also warns about the negative effects of the development of the tobacco industry by adding, on the superficial level, CNTC is a cash cow for China since it contributes tens of billions of dollars of taxes. But I've seen plenty of surveys saying that tobacco is actually a heavy burden on a country's economy since the profits made in the industry are far from enough to cover the medical costs on dealing with smoking-related illnesses. And finally, Kong Yan Xiaozi has this appeal on his blog. Several days ago, in a government work report, Premier Wen Jiabao said that we must develop the economy at the expense of the environment and people's health. The deputies present at the meeting applauded, and I bet there were definitely representatives from the tobacco industry present. So I do hope they will really take notice of this.
Okay, Esther, so how do net users square the fact that on the one hand the government is making so much money from tobacco, yet at the same time it's supposed to be discouraging people from smoking?
Well, not very easily. Actually, back in 2003, China signed the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control and promised that by the January 2011, smoking in all indoor public places and workplaces would be banned. But based on the comments I've seen, most posters think this goal hasn't been fulfilled more than a year later. And they seem to believe that the government inaction in this field has made the tobacco control in China an impossible mission. First, we have Wang Chong, who says on 360doc.com. Actually, the Chinese government is the world's biggest tobacco company. The tobacco industry in China is a state-owned and monopoly industry, and it contributes 7% of the government's tax. So this industry has a big influence on the Chinese government. And Yuan Shan Qiaofu goes even further. Everybody knows that the so-called State Tobacco Monopoly Bureau and the China National Tobacco Company are managed by the same people. They are both a governmental body as well as a tobacco business. They supervise themselves, so it would be strange if any real tobacco control was promoted here. And 慢慢来 on QQ.com refers to the situation in Hong Kong. Hong Kong has banned smoking in public places, and anybody who smokes in these areas will be fined at least $250. And smokers are only allowed to smoke near special yellow garbage bins on the road. But there are also some posters who argue that the tobacco companies shouldn't be the only ones to blame. One typical example on this side is this poster from Tianjin. I don't think we should only be attacking the tobacco companies. It's the smokers themselves who push the demand of smoking. What's the point of condemning the tobacco companies?
Okay, finally, Esther, putting aside the argument over who should bear more blame, one thing for sure is that smoking is bad for people's health, not only for smokers themselves, but also for those around them. So what can be done to reduce tobacco use in China? Any suggestions?
Well, on this question, plenty of posters think separating government administration from company management is the first priority. For example, Zhai Yujie has his take on xhby.net. The pattern of self-supervision in the tobacco industry has to be broken. And in this way, the bizarre situation of controlling tobacco with one hand while selling it with the other will be changed. Finally, this poster on BeijingNews.com comes up with several suggestions. The government should aim to stop relying on taxes from the tobacco industry. And that's not realistic, since our financial strength has improved so much. And the government has a lot to do to change people's concept of smoking. For example, control the number of tobacco ads and print skulls on cigarette packs, as well as reduce the number of brands of tobacco. China has the most tobacco brands in the world. And for plenty of people, the more expensive the tobacco a smoker chooses, the higher the economic and social status he or she has. All this needs to be changed in terms of promoting tobacco control here.